Tonight is our second lesson. So every, alternating week, we have a lesson, a creative writing lesson. Last week was a workshopping session. Here we are with another creative writing lesson. Y esta vez la lección se va a presentar por Abraham, who worked very hard, I think, to bring us a very interesting and I hope very fun lesson for us for this week. So I want to give it up to Abraham Jaramillo, our master teaching artist. Shout out to Abraham. Y ahí te paso el micrófono.
Hello, hello, hello. Again, say hello to el huesudo de atrás.
Oh, I had a free light here.
Lightweight. Okie dokies. So let's start with this interesting class that I prepared. Let me share my screen. Hopefully everybody can see. There you go. Excellent. And as basically the screen showed, Sul. That's how we start today. So como les digo, hoy comenzamos con Sul. Y pues vamos a ver qué está pasando. Bueno, comencemos. Here is hello in Simlish, which is the gibberish language spoken by the characters of a popular video game called The Sims. And again, I didn't know this video game too much before researching this, but here it is. Although the language has some commonly used words like sul, which again means hello, the vast majority of this language is made up on the spot by voice actors. The developers had previously tried basing Simlish on real languages like Estonian or Ukrainian, but to the benefit of all of us, they didn't. And we ended up with a truly universal language that anyone could understand, made up of pure, brainless babbling. En español, como diciendo sul, hola. En Simlish, que es el lenguaje sin sentido que hablan los personajes de un popular videojuego llamado Los Sims. Aunque el idioma tiene algunas palabras que con uso común como sul, la gran mayoría de este idioma está compuesto en el acto por actores de voz. Anteriormente, los desarrolladores habían intentado basar Simlish en idiomas reales como el estonio o el ucraniano, pero no lo hicieron para el beneficio de todos nosotros. Y terminamos con un idioma verdaderamente universal que cualquiera podía entender, hecho de puro balbuceo sin sentido. Y como le estaba diciendo, este idioma va siendo hecho por los actores en el mismo momento. So, no está planeado nada más pocas palabras como sul. So, before we continue, any questions? Algunas preguntas. ¿Todos bien? ¿Todos vamos bien? Okay. So let's continue. The goal was to create a language with no structure, which could not repeat. So players didn't end up hearing the same voice line over and over while tinkering with the game. It's hard to overstate the hit this concept has on today's culture. So here are some bands that had made covers for The Sims and Slimish. Raced Against the Machine, titled Savior, My Chemical Romance, Na Na Na, Paramore, Pressure, as well as many more. And here is the link for the Katy Perry's Last Friday Night in Simlish. Again, we're gonna play it right now, but I'm gonna put it in the chat. So whenever you have the chance, you can actually check it out. Okay, it's in the chat. En español, el objetivo era crear un lenguaje sin estructura que no se repitiera para que los jugadores no terminaran escuchando las mismas líneas de voz una y otra vez mientras jugaban. Es difícil exagerar la influencia que este concepto en la cultura tiene, ¿verdad? Así que aquí hay unas bandas que hicieron versiones de los Sims en Slimish. Race Against the Machine, Savior, My Chemical Romance, Paramore, Pressure y así como muchas más. Y aquí está el enlace de Katy Perry, Last Friday Night en Simlish. Se los voy a bueno, ya lo puse en el chat. So, cuando tengan la curiosidad, pueden ponerse en YouTube y escuchar eso. Y hay más canciones de otros grupos que lo hicieron ese idioma creado para un videojuego. Continuemos. Other examples of constructed language or conlang. Otros ejemplos de lenguaje construido o conlang. Minionese or the banana language, spoken by the minion on the movie Despicable Me. A bunch of funny or interesting sounding words from around the world. The result, most people agree, is pretty hilarious. But the reality is that this language is harder than it sounds. And here is the 4 components that make it. En español, miñones o el lenguaje de la plátano, hablado por los Minion en la película Despicable Me, un montón de palabras divertidas o que suenan interesantes de todo el mundo. El resultado, la mayoría de la gente está de acuerdo. Es bastante divertido. Pero la realidad es que este idioma es más difícil de lo que parece. Y estos son los 4 componentes que lo crean. So, without further ado, first component of this language, loan words. Loan words basically are words that are borrowed from other languages. And we have the first one, we love you, which is tu la lío ti amo, which comes from the Italian. Then we have ice cream, gelato, again, Italian. Then I'm sorry, bidu, in the Arabic. Cheers, which in Milanese is kampai, comes from the Japanese. Then we have wedding, la boda, from Spanish. Is it ready? Puri nada, or na, puri nada, from Filipino. Then for you, para tú, Esperanto. Thank you, terima kasih, Indonesian. 1, 2, 3. Hana dul sai, Korean. Then open sesame, polit tikka masala, French or sort of. And then we have another one. That's all. At peace is taught. French, again, sort of. So, en español, esta es una de las partes que componen el idioma de los Minion. Y como les decía, viene siendo prestados, porque sí son palabras prestadas de otros idiomas. Te amamos, tu la lío, ti amo, italiano. Helado, gelato, italiano. Lo siento, bidu, del árabe. En salud, kampai, de japonés. Boda, la boda, español. Está listo, purinada. Purina, I don't know, filipino. Para ti, para tú, de Esperanto. Gracias, terima kasih, indonesio. 1, 2, 3. Ana dul sea, coreano. Sésamo abierto. Ábrete sésamo, pero Aquí la regué. Put it tiki masala. Del francés, o más o menos. Eso es todo. Et pisse tout. En francés, de nuevo, más o menos. Esperanto es un idioma, pero I don't know where Esperanto comes from actually. I'm assuming apart from France or Spain, sorry, but I don't know exactly where. Or Indonesian, I don't know. And then we have the other part that makes the language, onomatopoeia, which is something that Luis covered last class. And for you guys who are online, you might want to check the previous class. We go a little more into it. But here's an example. Be-do, be-do. The noise of a fire engine, one of the minions makes when trying to indicate fire. And again, basically, onomatopoeia is when you write the sound things make or are produced. You just write basically the sound. En español, onomatopeya, pido, pido, pido. El ruido de un camión de bomberos hace uno de los minions cuando intenta indicar un incendio. Como diciendo, esta palabra la cubrimos en la clase pasada. Para los que no estuvieron, pueden checar el video en YouTube. Y básicamente es escribiendo palabras, el sonido de palabras, perdón, haciendo sonidos en palabras, como escribiendo como bidu, bidu, o bam, pum, como las películas, las caricaturas de Batman, los cómics. Then we have the third part, English baby talk. That's goodbye, and they made it into Popeye. Then butt or bottom. Butt or bottom, toilet humor is often key to minion communication. Underwear, I swear. Then I am hungry, me want banana. And again, that's basically kind of the way you will talk to kids, to babies. That's kind of the way this part of the language is used. Then, en español, inglés, hablando como ve. Y me refiero a inglés porque son palabras que están un poco más basadas en inglés. Adiós, Popeye, que viene de goodbye, ¿verdad? Y como les decía, es palabras tan basadas como formas como le hablarías a un bebé. Trasero o patear trasero, butt or bottom. El humor de baño suele ser clave para las comunicaciones de Minion, porque realmente lo que quieren hacer es chistoso, ¿verdad? Ropa interior, I swear. Después, estoy hambriento. Me want banana. Okay. And then we have the last part of this language is inflation and tone. A good example is the minion's word polka, which appears to mean both what or whatever, or perhaps screw these, depending on tone. So this word has different meanings just by the way the minions say it. Maybe like poka or poka or poka or poka. I don't know. That's kind of the way it works. There is also papoy or baboy. That has at least 3 different meanings distinguished by tone. Again, the key is tone, how you are saying these words. En español, inflexiones y tonos. Esta es la última parte de este idioma. Un buen ejemplo es la palabra miñonesa poca, que parece significar que, o lo que sea, o tal vez, al diablo con esto, según el tono. También hay popeye o baboy, que tienen al menos 3 significados diferentes que se distinguen por el tono. Básicamente, depende cómo lo digas. So, here are all the parts for the minions, right? So, any questions before we move on? ¿Alguna pregunta antes que sigamos?
Yes.
Any more questions? I don't see nothing in the chat so far. So,
well, just to clarify on Esperanto, and River also provided a little bit more of a explanation of what Esperanto is. But Esperanto was actually itself a constructed language that was
interesting.
started in the year 1887 by a Polish ophthalmologist. So a Polish
Nice.
eye doctor had this idea of making a language that would be easily used across nations. And it incorporates a lot of different elements of other languages itself. So Miñanese being a constructed or a made-up
You used
language,
another one.
Esperanto itself is also a constructed language. So Miñanese is kind of meta in that way.
Yeah, love it. Easter egg. Awesome. Huh. And well, since we already have that, that's a good little factoid that I liked. Huh. Okay. Any more questions before we move on onto languages? Nope. Okay, let's do this. We have Klingon, spoken by Klingons, were 40 humanoids characterized by prideful ruthlessness and brutality. Klingons practice feudalism and authoritarianism with a warrior caste relying on slave labor. Developed by screenwriter Gene L. Kuhn in 1967 for the original Star Trek TOS series. En español, Klingon, hablado por los Klingons, eran humanoides morenos caracterizados por una crueldad y una brutalidad orgullosa. Los Klingon practicaban el feudalismo y el autoritarianismo con una casta guerrera que dependía del trabajo de los esclavos. Desarrollado por el guionista Gene L. Kuhn en 1967 para la serie original Star Trek TOS. For those who probably have seen. And with that in mind, I'm gonna ask how many we have. Well, I'm gonna ask Luis to choose a person for this one because I cannot see all of the people here. To read or try to read this. Yeah, that's the entire thing. From here to the bottom.
Well, before I
Luis,
choose, does anyone want to volunteer that might be fluid in Klingon?
Nobody here. That's the point.
I thought I'd try. Let's see. How about okay, I'll make sure not to choose you, Claudia.
That would have been my first guess.
Ms. Lois, do you want to give it a shot? See how?
No, I was just going to say this reminds me of Robert Williams when he was supposed to have come to Earth.
Okay.
Yeah, but no, I can't get the dialect in my throat, but it's in my head.
Yeah, you're talking about Mort, right?
Mark, yeah, Mark and Wendy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, do you want to give at least maybe the first line a shot? See how you do with reading the first line.
Dappy Johnny, what? No. Happy. Joy, wow, joy. That's it.
Okay. That was a good attempt.
I'm gonna be the one choosing them.
From Miss Luce. Miss Luce, you want to give it a shot?
Thank you.
Yeah, I was a Star Trek The Next Generation fan myself. So
this is your time to shine then.
Yeah, right. Okay. I have to look really stern to be like Worf. Taj Pe George Oi well da. Boss ya we may leg cho sme dak. Nun dak on eb pa. I sound like my grandson. Okay, somebody else take a shot.
All right. That was a good attempt there, Miss Luce.
Thank you.
Abraham, you want to try and finish it off?
Okay, guys. Koi wach me ton Ralph he chaff me we nook dak black be. There you go. So I mean, since we kind of hear half and half here and there, my question is, what do you guys think about this? Tell me, how do you guys think? What do you guys think it actually says?
You got my dog at your house. No, tell us.
No, I'm not gonna tell you. You guys can think.
I like though that Miss Lois was like, "You have your dog. You have my dog at your house." That's a good interpretation. That's as valid as any.
Okay, any takers? Come on, guys. What does this sound tells you?
You know, it for some reason I'm thinking about the Pacific Islander language, Tonga. I don't know, or Moana movie. The movie what was it? Moana by Disney.
Yes.
Islanders. I'm thinking about that. Some of these words look backwards to me. Also, it can be maybe it can be African. I don't know, African island Pacific Islanders. I don't know. Some words like backwards, and like the word tune spelled backwards is nut. So and I'm wondering if it's like a dialect. Also, I haven't. But I see three. I see every line almost has three words, like three words in like DAQ and then SOB, DAQ again, DAQ.
It's like a song.
You know, three. In other words, the lines almost have words that have three letters for words with three words in them. I mean, words with three letters in it each. And I'm wondering if there's a difference in that. I don't know.
Well, yeah, this language actually has its books and a lot of followers. I think it's the language is made up that has the most people who speak that language. And somebody says repetition of DAC, definitely, yeah, that word comes up a couple of times. Yeah, it's
with the MEY, the May.
Yeah, May, yeah.
And just kind of like as like a little thing to add on there for everyone, when you see repetitions of certain sounds, if you remember what we had talked about on our last lesson about the phoneme, a phoneme is one of the core sounds to a language. So dak or me, those would be phonemes that are specific to this language.
Yep. And before I keep on torturing you in this one, let's see what this language is telling us. Again, this time I'm gonna ask for River to read this, which is the English translation.
Oh, that's easy. I'll read it.
Okay. Who said that? I cannot see who's speaking.
Can I put emphasis on it?
Okay.
Torn between pains, the gathering of my mind, seeing shadows move, which aren't there. Hear the voices whispering along the edge of minds, coming out of nowhere. And that's it. Oh, that's it.
Thank you very much. And this poem was written by David E. Howerton. He does a lot of poetry in this language. And before we actually discuss the poem, let's hear it in Spanish. Who wants to give it a go in Spanish?
I can do it.
Okidokis, whenever you are ready.
Desgarrado entre dolores, la reunión de mi mente, viendo moverse las sombras que no están. Escucha las voces susurrando a lo largo del borde de la muerte, saliendo de la nada.
Thank you very much.
Por David E. Howerton.
So what do you guys think about the poem now that you guys know the content of it. ¿Qué piensan del poema, ya que sabemos lo que significa?
I like the poem. It's how do you say, mysterious,
Mm.
and it's out of the box.
What is the last part that you said? Sorry, couldn't hear that.
No, I'm just saying I like it. It's mysterious. It's you know, it's not repetitiously done as a poem, but it's a descriptive writing, you know, of feeling or experience. I like those kind of things.
Thank you. And yeah, like we can see the repetition we're talking about, right? I think it was mine. So it was quack or something like that. What was it?
Yeah.
Dak, right? So that's mine. In a couple words.
Yeah, two minds, yeah.
And we have Gothic.
Yeah, in
What
the
else?
chat, Claudia called it Gothic. But I think if you were to compare them side by side, you notice that mind is in the second line, whereas duck is first. So, you know, keep in mind that those phonemes are about the sounds, not so much the words themselves. But we also have a hand raise from Gia, so let's give Gia a chance.
Hi, yes, thank you. Yeah, I really like this piece, but and also too, it really made me think of like mental illness, you know, because it talks about pain and voices whispering and edge of the minds. So, you know, I kind of went to that place with it.
Yeah, so did I. Yeah.
Coming out of nowhere, yeah.
It's like the devil made me do it.
no. That's not exactly mental health. Oh my God. Yeah.
That was from Flip Wilson.
Any more takes on this one before we go ahead?
Yeah, I have a comment. I'm thinking about somebody of the dearly departed. Somebody who you may think is, I mean, although it says torn between pains, that pain can be the longing or the lament of somebody gone. And maybe thinking about that person and hearing their voices, seeing shadows of them. Maybe it can be a ghost or a figure of them. Like as if, although you know that he or she is gone, maybe it's like in the afterlife. And you're wondering if those voices are still being heard, although you know that that person or people are gone. And as far as the minds are concerned, is it your mind that you're thinking about or their mind? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think it's somebody thinking of all these people or that are past or something, and they're still bothering his mind. I don't know, maybe some type of war or something. And I go there because let's continue with a little more of this. Okay, so a tough language for a tough species. Mark Okrand, the creator of the language, kept in mind that the Klingons are tough characters because they are warriors. They are mostly violent, crude, rough, but honorable. They live to fight in the battlefield. Thus, Okrand created the language, the language rich in vocabulary of war, with many sounds coming from the back of the throat, which I think we were reading the first time, somebody mentioned that already. He added some pleasantries such as hello, although it sounds tough as well. The nearest translation for the Klingon greeting is Nuk Ne, which means what do you want, more or less. And I went there because, again, it seems to be still about fighting and war. That's kind of like PTSD that somebody was saying, mental health issues. That ring a bell to me, like PTSD kind of situation. Maybe the writer went for that. En español, un lenguaje duro para una especie dura. Mark Okrand, el creador del lenguaje, tenía en cuenta que los Klingons son personajes duros porque son guerreros. En su mayoría son violentos, crudos, toscos, pero honorables. Viven para pelear en el campo de la batalla. Por lo tanto, Ocran creó el lenguaje rico en vocabulario de guerra, con muchos sonidos provenientes del fondo de la garganta, como cuando lo estaban leyendo hace poco, alguien se notó eso. Agregó algunas bromas como hola, aunque también suena difícil. La traducción más cercana al saludo Klingon es Nuk Ne, que significa ¿qué quieres? Y yo creo que en español sabemos de qué, what's up? Kind of the harsh hello. And any other questions so far? Since there are more constructed languages, such as Dothraki, which comes from the Game of Thrones, Elvish from Lord of the Rings, etc. But today we are going to focus on sound. Hay más lenguajes construidos, como Dothraki, que es del Juego de Tronos, o élfico, como del Señor de los Anillos, etc. Pero hoy nos centraremos en el sonido. So, the following words is going to be an exercise for everybody right now, or more like a game. The following words belong in 3 different categories, just by the way they sound, not by the way they mean, their meaning, okay, just by the way they sound. So write down, what do you think they are? Like this, the number of it, because they're gonna come in groups. So I want you to put the number of the group and what you think it means to you. Irritant, sexy, loud, I don't know. You're gonna choose that, etc. And again, put it in the chat, but just in one line. Don't write 1, 2, 3, just one, all the answers, right? And then, en español, las siguientes palabras pertenecen a 3 categorías diferentes, solo por la forma en que suenan. O sea, no se enfoquen en lo que significan, sino cómo suenan. Así que escribe lo que crees que son. Como por ejemplo, el número del grupo, porque van a venir en grupos. 1, 2, 3, así. Y después le pones del número del grupo, le pones irritantes, sexy, chismosas, no sé, lo que te hagan venir a la mente las palabras en el grupo entero, ¿verdad? Y como les digo, cuando acaben, lo ponen en el chat, no lo pongan en varias respuestas, nada más en una respuesta entera, por ejemplo, 1, 2, 3, todas juntas, ¿verdad? Y le ponen, como les digo, enseguida el número, le ponen lo que piensan que significa o la categoría en la que vienen. Okay, so any questions before we move on? Algunas preguntas antes de que sigamos con el juego. Okay, let's do this. So number 1, Mambustled. Cutsipa. Cutsipu. Wumble. Then 2. Epiphany. Aurora. Plethora. 3. Phlegm. Squid. Curd. Again. So while we go at it, I'm going to say it again. Lo voy a repetir otra vez. Número 1, Bamboozled. Cutesy Poo. Wumble. Segunda, Epiphany. Aurora. Plethora. 3, Plugum. Squid. Curd. There you go. So how much time do we give him, Luis?
Say like 3 minutes. But remember, you're focusing on the sound, not the meaning of the word. So if you understand the meaning of the word, forget
about that.
Only the sound. So what do they have in common in terms of the sound?
San Juanita?
Are we using those categories, or we can come up with our own?
No, we don't have any categories yet. Like, you're gonna invent them.
Because I saw the words there, the ones that you had there. Okay, so
Well,
we come up with our categories.
Yeah. So number 1, you're gonna put their category that you think they are. Number 2 and number 3, and then at the end, I'm gonna tell you what basically the answers.
So we come up with the categories. Okay.
Yes.
Sure. Okay.
Go for it.
Thank you.
Well, for the time being, I'm gonna actually read the ones that we already have on the chat. Why not? So for the first one, we have from River, we have number 1, Sile. Then number 2, beautiful. Number 3, squishy. I like squishy. Even the word squishy is cool. Anyways, we have Claudia. She put for number 1, soft. For number 2, cute. And for number 3, childish. Interesting. Then we have for luz, número 1, silly. Número 2, mysterious. Número 3, gross. And then, we have, she did. Oh, thank you, Luz. And now Claudia, number, I think she missed one. Claudia, well, it says number 2, cool. Then 3, windy, and number 4, throat focused. I'm assuming is first one is cool, then second one is windy, and third one is throat focused. Then Martinez, we have number 1, comedic. Number 2, subtle, enchanting, and 3, unhealthy. Oh, interesting. Then we have Michelle going for number 1, wondering. Wow. Number 2, future, tomorrow. Then 3, nasty, medicinal. We have Gia, number 1, mixed. Number 2, ethereal. Number 3, Chucky. Then we have River. Oh, that's 3 in the chat by now. And then we have Claudia, put number 3 because I don't know where. Maybe she had another one before. Oh, yeah. Hard. Okay. So how much time we have, Luis? I don't know if everybody has.
Almost everyone went.
Okay. We're going to give you 6 seconds. No pressure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There you go. Let's get to the answers. So we have answers. Number 1, funny. Number 2, peaceful. Number 3, disgusting. Respuestas. Número 1, chistoso. Número 2, pacífico. Número 3, asqueroso. So here is why, basically, right? The funny, I think, kind of, I don't know, should I explain this one? It's just the sounds of it. It's basically boop, bumbly, bumbly, chumbly kind of thing. That's kind of giving it the funny thing to it. Then the second one, basically, it's peaceful because it has a lot of this H sounds. It's more like breathing, right? We have with the word epiphany, aurora, plethora. It's kind of has like this breathing in it. Then the third one, we have plugin, squid, curd. And I think most of you got that one specifically because I think the sound comes from when you feel in your face when you are saying those words, and the sound comes kind of from your nose, like you're making this kind of movement with your face, kind of reminds you when you are smelling something stinky or tasting something. It's kind of your face gives you that kind of face. So when you say those words, they kind of plug them, squid, you know. So that's why it makes it that kind of. Okay, so everybody actually did a good job, and I like the interpretation of many of you. And that's kind of where we're going for the words, right? That's kind of we're trying to get at. And even the words that we went through for the languages that were created, those words were chosen for a reason because they give us some type of feeling because of the way we speak them, the way they sound. Like what's the Star Trek one? Basically, that one's because of the warrior. That was like, rah, it's a little rough. Mm-hmm. And again, the minion because it's funny. Okay, so let's move on. Who said she has her microphone ready? She's gonna read
River.
minds, please. So whenever you are ready, please do read my poem.
Okay, so I think.
And again, there's no wrong answers on this one. You can read it the way you think it sounds. Okay. So no worries.
All right. The title is blah blah blah. So tuku ku kuru 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 mi mihi barabing bararara chibibiki riki turun turun tun plung. Did I miss any?
Thank you very much. That was pretty great. Okay, so let's see what you guys think this poem is trying to convey.
Some happy feeling, maybe. Sounds like a happy feeling, like even pleasant to read, I think.
Excellent. Yeah. Good. Anybody else? Keep going. No wrong answers on this one. I actually want to hear what you think, because that was the point of this.
I think it's interesting. Claudia wrote in the chat that she interprets it as the flow of a conversation.
Like blah, blah, blah. Oh, because, okay. I get it.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yes.
We have a hand raised also from Roots.
I feel like it sounds like a song when you don't know the lyrics. So you kind of just, go like sing whatever it sounds like. I feel like this sounds like a corrido or like some cumbia.
Yes, very good.
I think Abraham needs to sing it for us with the little in the background.
I sing it, you dance it, okay?
Miss Michelle wrote in the chat, gossip or I have a story to tell you.
Ooh, a cantar. Oh. Okay. Well, I guess, hold on. We have another thing in the chat. I don't know. Oh, no, I don't know what I did. I touched some button. Yeah, you guys are right. I mean, the whole point for me was to create something fun and funny out of it. And the outcome that I didn't expect, which is actually pretty cool, is the conversation part. I guess because also the title guides you a little bit towards that. Like blah, blah, blah. It's bubbling in a way if you guys think about it. So yeah, hearing some conversation with actually knowing what they're saying. Yeah. Hearing Chisme gave this to me. Yeah. Yep. And yeah, that's kind of where are we heading, guys. So now let's move on to the other exercise. So exercise. Now that you guys are here again in the chat, also paper if you don't lose your info. Write a list of made up words you're gonna make, okay? What you think sound a certain way, such as angry, sad, funny, etc., right? So write a list of made up words that you think sound a certain way, such angry, sad, funny, etc. Ejercicio. Escribe una lista de palabras inventadas que crees que suenan de cierta manera, como enojado, triste, divertido. Ejercicio, repito. Escribe una lista de palabras inventadas que crees que suenan de cierta manera, como enojado, triste, etc.
So only, I apologize.
No, go for it. ¿Cuál es la pregunta? What's the question?
Yes, just choose either be hungry. Oh, yes. To be angry, sad, or funny, either one or some for all three.
Yeah, you can do more. That's why I put etc. Etc. means even more than So again, put first try it on paper, I'm assuming, or if you have a Word document, write them down. It's probably Word is going to tell you, what are you writing? But again, put a couple of words and then you can put in the chat if you want to, so we can all see them, and that'll be cool to see how you guys came up with words. And again, all those words have to sound one way. No, each one has different meaning. All of them have to convey the feeling that you want. Okay? So how much time do you want to give them, Luis?
Let's do maybe just 3 words to start for everyone. And remember, this is made up words. So it's not any words that
made up.
currently exist.
Oh,
Right. Yeah. Like we already have a little list going in the chat from River as an example if you want to look at that.
Sí, muchas gracias. Y al rato intentamos leerlas ahorita. Y en español, como les decía, cuando acaben de escribirlas, pongan en el chat. Again, nada más nos la pongan en un solo text. No van a mandar varios, porque si no nos hacemos bolas. Como hay varios participantes, es difícil para nosotros seguirlos. So, cuando acaben sus palabras, pónganlas en el chat. Cuando acaben, ¿verdad? 3 palabras que piensen que significa, que los sonidos hagan que signifiquen lo que ustedes quieren. ¿Ok? Y les damos, ¿qué dijiste? ¿Cuántos minutos?
Hay que decir unos 5.
5 minutos. Okay. 5 minutes, guys.
Do we write the theme right off the bat, or are we having?
If you want to have us guess,
you can have us guess. Yeah, that would be cool too. Yeah. We can do it as a group, and all of us say, oh, "Okay, we think it's this or that." Okay. Cool.
Okay.
Well, don't put it in text. Try to speak because texting all this is gonna get confused.
Yeah.
Okay.
San Juanita, you have a question?
Am I writing about each word or just choosing one emotion?
I say to start, try and focus maybe on one and, make up 3 words that go with that one emotion if it's easier for you. But if you want to push yourself and continue, you can pick multiple emotions and then we can try and guess.
Okay. I don't know if I want to push myself that.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, try to focus on one, I guess, and then you'll see why is one word working, especially when we're gonna try to say it and guess it, and then you figure out, okay, this word's actually doing what I want. If it is not, you might want to scratch it off, right, and come up with new ones.
And just to reiterate again, this is about the sounds, right? So it's not real words that you're going for. It's sounds that you associate with a particular emotion.
Yeah. So the words that you're making up, again, the words don't exist. You want to create your own words. So you have a lot of freedom and flexibility to play with just the sounds, right?
Yeah.
So again, like the way we were discussing about the previous words, what makes them sound that way, right? Like what's the sound doing to you as you read it? Is it making you angry? Is it making you, does it sound fun, peaceful, and so on?
Right. So we're working with phonemes, the base core sounds of language here.
Yeah, like the Game of Thrones has also the Dothraki that we're talking about, and it does the same thing. It's like kind of like, I guess the sound of, like Luz was saying, dogs kind of doing kind of this.
We've got some good stuff already showing up in the chat.
Ooh, me like it.
For those who might be polyglots, may speak more than one language, take advantage of the fact that you have multiple ways in which you can create sounds too. So it looks like almost everyone has contributed at least a few words.
So we ready?
Oh yeah, might as well.
All right. Well, yeah, I think we've got a really good set of made up words here. So
let's try them all.
Good class. You have a good class.
Let's do this. So we're gonna start with River. Okay, let me try this.
How do I submit this now that I've finished writing?
Second, Louis. Wait, I just raised your hand.
Oh, wait.
Okay, so River, Shrek, Lilo, Lisi, watch, touch. Watch, touch. I like that. So what do you guys think those words mean or give you? Come on, guys. Let's see. Let's guess. And again, use the mic because otherwise we're going to create a lot of messages.
Yeah, my instinct, based on the words that I'm reading by River, I would say that they're like, there's a variety of them. Like circ feels very like an affirmation, whereas Lailu feels very soft. So more of like an inviting, happy word. Lisi kind of has a little bit more of a happy sort of sound to it to me. Buchtuch, I think that could be maybe a little more on the like angry side.
Huh.
That's my interpretation.
Yeah.
Happy, romantic. Those were some of the other interpretations that we see in the chat.
Oh yeah, I cannot see the chat. It's too much stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. River, how close are we to your answer?
Sure. So I'm a little bit out of breath. There was yelling outside and I had to run down the stairs. So
Who's
I have
chasing
to-
you?
I don't know. My neighborhood's a little bit crazy sometimes, but it's good. But I'm a little bit out of breath. And so that's okay. So the first one I was kind of thinking of like my lungs are not going to cooperate. Like if somebody's like, how was your day? Be like, suduk. Or you're like
Yes.
washing the dishes and they're like, mommy, and you're like, suduk. So like, how did your day? Like it went. Or mommy, yeah, go. The second one, Lailu, I was thinking more of like soothing. So like if somebody's like you walk in a room and you might say to everybody, Lailu. No, it's my out of breath. That sounds more like intense.
Like chill.
Yeah. Or like you might be rocking somebody on your lap and, or I have children. So that must come across a lot. And then Lisi is kind of like I envision kind of like a happy sound, kind of like when you're just like hanging out with each other, or you come in and somebody's like, did you get me anything from the store? And you're like, Lisi, like here it is, like I got your little toy, or I'm going out with friends.
Yeah, sounds somewhat like a giggling or like whispering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like kah is more like kind of like people are just I don't know if I can curse on people are just messing around and finding out and you're just kind of done with it. Like and then pooch is more like the word that's kind of like a noun, kind of like when your tummy is a little poofy or your face feels a little swollen. But it's kind of like a cute noun. Like so like kind of like we'll say something like, oh, I got a little pooch. In we just use that in our house a lot. So that's kind of like what it is, kind of like just something that's a little bit puffy or like a little pillow that might be squishy, or if your cheeks are a little bit what is that animal? It's a chipmunky. That I guess that's what I was thinking.
Good. Great job, River. Pretty good. And then we have Claudia. We have the answers. Well, let's give it a go. We have grats, bzz, and Q. What do you guys think? Does it sound angry to you guys?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it also helps to have them all capitalized letters. Then we kind of understand the intonation, right? Like one of the elements that you had talked about before.
Yeah.
We know how we're supposed to pronounce it. So that helps a lot.
Excellent, Claudia. And then we have Royal Roots. We have, let me try. My first time speaking this language. Sarem Pucha. Chabinka. Karudui. Something like that. And then we have the last one, Shalamping. That sounds kind of like native. What do you take for this one, guys? What do you guys think the sounds are giving you for these 4 words?
Let's put tasty drinks.
Tasty drinks. Somebody thirsty.
Like that. Yeah. Friendly.
Sponsored by Champunka.
And it's all one emotion.
Yeah, we're trying to get at this. So guys, come on.
I guess I kind of see like Chabinka as being like kind of like the most energetic word in there. Kind of like maybe if something cool happened, you'd be like Chabinka. Whereas Caradway kind of feels like an order to me, like calm down or something. I don't know.
River, I see you're bossy, I guess.
I am bossy.
No, but you're right. Yeah. And I like that you guys are I thinking of these words and making connections of what you think these sounds are providing. And yeah, Chambinka definitely has that kind of, I guess the binka kind of has this punchy thing in the middle. That's why the chemists get a little cheerful. Chalamping. Same thing with Chambinka and Chalamping has a little bit this energetic to it. Who else has guests for this one? Again, try to speak because I cannot go under my chat here. Otherwise, I cannot find it.
Miss Luz
Okay, I
wrote
think
in-
somebody's. I think I'm saying that it sounds like they're gossiping, like chismes.
A ver, we'll see.
It's like Caradway, right? Like maybe the intonation, if you were to say it, Caradway, like, hey, I have something to say, you know.
Oh, I like,
I can see that.
interesting. So let's see, Roots, what are we, how far are we?
You guys did a great job. Everyone did a great job. But I was kind of thinking, you know, when you're angry at your children and you want to tell them off, but you're not really like,
Yes.
you don't really want to tell them off with like words. I do this to my children a lot. It's kind of like when I'm upset at them, but I'm firm and I'm like pretty much what someone said, when you're giving somebody like you're telling them go do this, like, you know, a direction, but like in a very firm way, like almost upset kind of thing.
I think we got one of the words. Somebody says "caradue." I think it was right. Somebody said that specific kind of like do this.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. It's okay. Thank you. Then we have Martinez and Juanita.
Just to sorry about, I thought you had skipped mine. I'm like, wait a minute. It was next. Sorry about that.
So what is not this one then? That's what you mean? What is this one? Okay. Okay. The words that we have for you are sagabade, then boom boom, then sikomyo, tan. I don't know if that was together. Is that together? Cinco moyo tan.
Cinco mio.
Oh, mio. Okay. Okay. So what do you guys think? Sagadave. Hold on. Sagabade. Boom. Stico mio. Tan. There you go. Secretive. Interesting. Thank you.
I feel like it sounds flirtatious.
Flirtatious. Sagabade. The way you said that. Boom.
Is that
I'm
the
trying.
best you can do, Abraham?
I gave it a go.
I think the word ton sounds like kind of like a sound that like has the concept of like all done, like ton.
Tan tan. Yes.
I think it sounds like she's scolding someone.
I don't know what you girls like. You're scolding a lot of people, it seems.
We have kids.
It's like all these kids like, oh, do this. But I get the feeling.
Like boom boom, you shouldn't have hit somebody. And sagabade, you should know better.
For me, the tan sound like authoritarian, like something like a little bit like authority, you know, like tan, like you were saying, but kind of listen to me kind of thing. Okay, Juanita, how far are we? Did we guess it right?
Actually, let me tell you, I was in the hospital, right? And I couldn't speak, but I was mad. I was really angry. And that's why I'm remembering. I did not say it like that, but I was like, I was trying to, because I was mad because they wouldn't give me food. I couldn't eat. I couldn't eat, right? I wasn't supposed to eat. So I remember I was like, but of course I was totally like not there. So I just remember my daughter was like, "What are you trying to say, Mom?" And I guess, and so this reminded me of when I couldn't say anything, like I couldn't speak, right? So I just remember, I don't know what I said, but it reminded me of that when I was like so angry and I couldn't, I couldn't speak and I could not make anything, how do you say it that makes sense, right? So this
So
to
you
me,
were scolding them. You were angry at them.
yeah, because
I'm
they
right.
wouldn't feed me, but I was like not even there. I was gone, I was like, I was in the ICU and they couldn't feed me, but I was like all angry. And my daughter was like, "You kept saying all these weird things, And then
you were preparing for this. That's why.
Yeah, maybe.
There you go.
So this kind of reminds me, my daughter kind of made the sounds that she heard when I was trying to speak. And I just remember, I said, maybe it was something like this. But yeah, I was making really weird, dumb noises, So yeah, but I was mad.
I like it.
Yeah, thank you.
Then we have Luz. We have, you didn't make that one up. Puchika with this. And we have Chipiripi Shandala. Ooh, okay. Yes, my pronunciation is perfect here. Okay, guys, what do you guys think? Puchika, Chipiripi, Sandala.
Well, I think to address the puchica, that one's pretty clear for anybody that is familiar with Spanish slang, specifically from, Central America. But I feel like chipiripi is also a slang word.
Really?
I feel
I
like
thought I made that one up.
Yeah. But the interesting thing about all of these, even puchica, is that they all kind of have a structure to them that feels informed by, real life languages. So like, and I think that's sort of what the purpose of this exercise is. It's to help all of us kind of begin making connections with sounds and the way in which they can be put together to form a word to give us a sense of something. So like the ch sound, and the k sound, they tend to be kind of more harsh sounds. So like puchica, if you say it, you'll kind of get that emphasis of, something being maybe off or wrong. The E of the chi piripi, that makes it sound like it's, something kind of fun, something maybe little. Where Shandala, the long sound that's repeated gives us sort of a sense of peace, calm, tranquility. So that's what I'm getting, at least.
Do tell us what's up.
Well, just basically trying to make up an exclamation, something with a sense of surprise or awe, like chipiripi, shandala.
Oh, shandala. Maybe, yeah. Shandala.
It's shandala. Yeah. So just
I think you put like a line between the N and the D. Maybe that will give us the shandala. Kind of
no,
a little more.
It's just shandala. It's one word.
Okay.
Just exclamation, like wow, cool, amazing. So
yep. Because of, again, when we said me and Luis, I think we were in the same way we read Shandala. It was a little more rolling, a little more peacefully than the Sha. We didn't do for the Sha. Unless maybe you put the capitals there. Maybe that will give us the Shan Dala kind of situation.
The exclamation.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good observation. The way in which we understand language, at least for, languages that use the Latin sort of letter forms, like English, Spanish, most other languages that have that sort of standardized alphabet. When we are writing, a lot of times the capital gives us a sense of kind of like emphasis. So like Claudia, who shared another set of anger words, nauk and rak, because we see them as capital letters, we kind of instinctively understand that there's an emphasis, right? So Shandala, if it's the accent is on the first A, maybe that's one way that you could help us read it with an accent by capitalizing the A, or by putting an accent mark, the little tilde, if you know how to do that on a keyboard. So
yeah.
So
yeah, I always struggle with that one, but
Yeah.
definitely the A has an accent, the first one.
And I think the last one has the way also Shandala. I don't know. We'll see. Practice it.
Yeah. So that might be useful though for everyone else, as you start thinking about, the types of words that you want to construct for ultimately for your homework, right? So yeah.
Okay. So we have Gia. Let's see how this works out. Flaruf. Psk. Chu. Chu, I guess. Anerm raw. Oh, interesting. Anerm raw. Flaruf. Some chu. Anerm raw. Huh. I like it. They have kind of these glued together. They kind of sound like the same language. I like that. Interesting. Okay. What do you guys think? Don't make me speak by myself. It's not a monologue.
These sound like pet words to me.
Pet words.
Yeah, like pet words. Like maybe you're talking about your dog. Like you took him to the groomer, and he just keeps stealing those like little bones, but you think it's cute. Second one sounds like a cat word to me. Like when you're talking to her about your cat.
So you're saying cats are not pets? That's what you're saying?
Well, different types of pets. But if they're not pet words, they kind of sound to me just like a calmer set of words, like a more low-key set of words. Not necessarily that you're not angry or frustrated, but kind of like maybe just kind of like everyday words, like when you come home from work and you're just at dinner or watching TV with friends. That's kind of like how it struck me.
Interesting. Okay. Who else? Claudia, was it you? I don't know who's speaking. Anybody
An
else?
overwhelming amount of sadness, like a suffocating sadness.
Ooh.
Like Murph. Like it's like you're moping. It's a sadness.
I like that. Huh. Interesting. What do you think, Luis?
I mean, that makes a lot of sense to me. The sound, the F, that hard F, it kind of does have sort of like this sense of frustration or something like that. So yeah, I could see that. I think it's also
like when you're like sobbing so much, like you're trying to like vocalize your sadness, but you're like suffocating in your tears.
Right.
Yeah, that's how I see it.
So Gia, how good are we? Hold on, Luis, you want to say something?
No, go ahead. I'll add something after.
Okay, cool. Gia, how far are we?
Actually, I was going more for like love romance, and I even like sprinkled little clues like
in our
mucho is like kiss and
smooch.
Yeah, and then a nerve rofo is like romance, and so that was kind of where I was basing it on.
I like that. Yeah. Huh. I like that. Interesting. So we're kind of close.
Well,
but I
like guess if you considered love and romance sad, Abraham.
it can lead to sadness. I mean,
that's
small
true. I'll give you that one. So I guess it's on the sad end of the romance.
Thank you, Gia. And let's move on to Claudia. Well, we kind of heard up at the beginning, but I guess now I can say it. Nook, rock.
Yeah.
There you go.
We already went over a couple of Claudia's words, but
then we have
Miss Michelle. Actually, I think Miss Michelle gave us full-on sentences.
Yeah. Okay, so let's try it. Fum shaka laka. That sounds familiar. Dude, Tylil, Feud, Wakaule. Then the third one, El, Him, hold on, Hism, Nim, Epepe. Interesting. What do you guys think? And again, these three all kind of should have conveyed the same feeling, but there are a lot of them.
I got whole sentences from this.
Mm-hmm.
It's like sentence number one is like, we went to a concert and that stuff was wild and like we came out of there jazzed.
Woo, woo, woo.
And like, yeah. The second
Okay.
sentence read to me like, that guy works too much and that's got him like worked up and high strung. Like, and the third one felt like just kind of like a little bit of gossip or a little bit of just like saying something about your neighbor that's like not too intense, or like a cousin that's coming home, but like, or maybe set out the plates. It felt like much more low key than the other two.
I'm going for, I'm with you on all these three interpretations. How about you, Luis?
Yeah. I mean, for sure, because of maybe more of a slightly culturally informed place, you know, the Fum Shakalaka.
Yeah.
That does sound like a celebration kind of thing. Kind of very similar to the NBA Jam Boom Shakalaka, right? But, you know, I think that that's also really important for us to kind of acknowledge, right? Is that we all have our own cultural sort of background that informs the way that we use language. And if we kind of go back to the first lesson when we were talking about onomatopoeia, something like fum shakalaka, you know, it's totally an onomatopoeia, but the sound that it's trying to replicate is a sound that is kind of rhythmic, maybe representing something like a drum, you know, something that feels very alive. And so as you're creating your languages, you know, kind of remember that, right? Remember the origins of language. We were originally starting to use sounds to sort of describe things within our world. The word tree, you know, is different based on where you're from, right? In Spanish, we say árbol. And árbol maybe might represent more the sound of like a tree, what a tree does, or, you know, how it moves. So those are things to also sort of keep in mind, right? As you're creating your languages, is how are you using onomatopoeia maybe to represent an emotion or an actual object in some of the cases that we were talking about, which goes back to
and
the
I
one that
think it
Gia
goes with
created.
Tylel. That's what the part I think she got from like tire. I think that gave it a little information there.
Yeah.
So Michelle, how far are we from these?
The first one is a phrase in happiness, celebration, as you said.
Celebration. Okay.
Thinking about the second one. The second one has something to do with I'm pissed off at somebody. I'm not
pissed off.
I'm not favorable, you know. And the third one is about wondering, pondering, you know, wondering and pondering about what if, or maybe next time, or you know. So three is I'm wondering or pondering. Number two is being pissed off. That's why I put the word food in there for feud. And then the first one is about praise and happiness, celebration.
Oh, okie dokies. Thank you, Michelle. Let's head to the most fun part that you guys always asking for and that you cannot resist. And it's addictive. Homework. So, homework. Make a poem with made up words that convey a specific feeling. And again, think about the way the words sound, because that's the only thing people's gonna have as a reference, because the language doesn't exist. You're gonna focus just on the sounds then, right? So don't think about too much of what you think these words mean. Think more the way they sound. So go for more for the sound, okay? So tarea, hacer un poema con las palabras inventadas que transmitan un sentimiento específico. Y como lo estamos diciendo, intenten usar el sonido, no tanto se basen en lo que ustedes quieran que significan las palabras, pero sino cómo van a sonar las palabras que ustedes van a inventar. Okay? So, and again, I think if you guys want to do an extra credit, you can do a little small, maybe like a couple of sentences. If you want to say, oh, I made up these words thinking on this, but not too much, just a little bit. And that'll be cool for the reader. Maybe we put it in the next page or something. And oh, that's why she chose these words. Because just by listening to you guys and the way you rationale, like how you thought about these words, it was really interesting why you chose those sounds, or what does this word kind of convey to you, or how do you create it? That's really interesting. Don't write too much about that, but just an extra thing. And I guess have fun.
Yeah, and just to reiterate that this is essentially your own original constructed language. So all the words should be something that you create, and probably will end up focusing more on the sound, right? Whether it be similar to like Klingon, which is more of a warrior's language, or the banana language, the Mignonese, which is more of a silly, focusing on funny sounds. If that's the direction you want your poem to go in, then, try to use sounds that you find funny, or sounds that you find warrior-like, or however it is that you want your poem to come across. And if it helps, use accent marks, use,
Yes.
exclamation marks, experiment with capitalization. Those things could potentially also help with us understanding the emotional significance of the made up language.
And again, it's part of the whole structure that we're working, language. And I think a big part of a poem is also the way it sounds, because maybe your topic you are talking about, it's really more like a sad, but the words that you're using in a poem are not really conveying that. It kind of makes a conflict of the way the poem sounds, and the way the poem is trying to tell you something else, right? You can even use it as that later on, but today we're trying to play with that, making you think about sound. So you can use it as another way of poetry, or you can at least use it when you're choosing the words. When you're writing a poem, you can choose the words that sound the way you're trying to use the poem to convey certain feelings, right?
Right. And spoiler alert, that's the path we're going on. So
Dun, 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 dun.
Exactly. All right. So any final questions?
Can you answer River's question, or did you answer it and I missed it?
I basically answered it by saying that every part of your poem will be your own conlang, your own constructed language.
So if you're using regular words, so it could be a combination of regular words, and that's still considered conlang? I'm confused.
Yeah, technically.
Technically, that's kind of the way the minions did. Like, they have a lot of different ways. I mean, you can use different things, but I think I'll encourage you more to use words that you are creating. You can definitely use one or two words that are already existent, but I think it's better if you start thinking more about the sounds and not the meaning, because that's going to take away from your focusing on creating sounds instead of thinking what the word already convey. Because you use a word that already means something, people probably is going to go for the meaning instead of the sound. So just play with that.
But if I wanted to use an Italian word, I could.
Yeah, definitely. Just don't write everything in Italian, though. Yeah.
German exclamation.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Excellent.
All right. Any final questions? All right. Well, shout out to Abraham for giving us a very, fun and I think, challenging in a good way kind of assignment here. I hope that you all have fun creating your own constructed languages. And this recording will obviously be live on YouTube in the next day or so. So you'll be able to, come back, revisit it if you need a refresher. And for everybody that joined in on the live stream, thank you for joining in for however long that was. And we will continue to gather submissions for the next issue of Conchas y Café zine. If you are ready and also interested in submitting now, the earlier you submit, the more possibility you have of getting maybe a little bit of feedback. And of course, for everyone that is fully enrolled in the class, next Tuesday, we will have another workshopping session. So remember to submit your work that you want feedback on to your assigned cohort no later than Friday night. So that way we have the weekend, Monday, and even up to Tuesday just before class to give you feedback on your writing. So have fun, everyone. Thank you again for joining in. And we'll be here again next week. Same time, same place. So have a good night, everybody.
Thanks,
Good
guys.
night.
Good night.